Following is a presentation of the Hello Chicago Network.
Hello, Chicago Network is on the air. Hello, everybody. I'm Ryan Yanishadis, and it's time to focus for this Monday, September the 15th. And I guess we're going to start it off with the Chicago Bears and just an ugly performance overall. But I guess, play the intro? And the Bears just continue to be the Chicago Bears. They lose this one of a final of 52-21. Now, you would think a team that really needed to win this game, and I said it almost a must win for both of the teams in this game, because the team that doesn't win is going to have their backs up against the wall and be done. So you think it would be a hard fought battle. Ben Johnson would want to come out there and actually do something against his former team, but no, it was all Lions, 52-21, and they didn't let their foot off the gas. Every time you thought, okay, maybe that's going to be it, and then they're not, and then the Lions just kept pounding it in, and a dominant job by Jared Goff, who 334 yards, 23 for 28, 5 touchdowns, 3 of them to St. Brown, who was 9 receptions, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns. You have those two in fantasy. You have them on the same team. Phenomenal. Then you look at the Bears side. Caleb Williams didn't exactly have the worst day. 19 for 30, 207 yards, 2 touchdowns. His one interception was an absolute stupid one where he was trying to throw it out of bounds, and what happens? He throws it to Detroit Lions. So explain to me how that happens. So anyway, they lose that one. At the end of the first half, confusing. The clock, was it supposed to be run off? Bears run off the field. They say no. Still got another play. Lions end up scoring another touchdown. And you hear Jonathan Vilma in the second half go, yeah, this isn't the same Bears team. Well, no shit. They just absolutely, they didn't even show up. So once again, we're going to have another Bears season where the Bears are the Bears, where it's week 2 and the season's already done. You're 0-2 against the division. The Packers are 2-0. You get to the tough part of the schedule coming up. Dallas won they probably should have lost this week as well, but they'll come in and look like the greatest team ever next week to Soldier Field, because when you play the Bears, you're almost guaranteed a victory because this team is not prepared. And Ben Johnson already has the stupid looks on the sidelines, and he's starting with the generic, well, we got to play better. Well, no shit, you got to play better, but something needs to change. And then Tyson Bagent came in at the end of the game. No, that's not the for sure thing, but Caleb Williams needs to show something. He needs to show life. He needs to show progression, because you're seeing these young quarterbacks just absolutely rail them, because you got JJ McCarthy in your division, you got Jordan Love in your division, and Jared Goff. Jared Goff's not young, but he's still a dominant quarterback, and he kicked your ass. Embarrassing loss by the Chicago Bears again. How long are we going to be able to do this? But the thing is that I'm numb to it, because it happens every year. It happens every week. This team Bears quarterbacks and Bears football is jinxed. And that's just the way it's going to be from here on out. So I guess we just got to live with it, with the Packers continuing to stick their foot right up the Bears' ass. And it makes Sundays not fun, especially when games aren't even close to being entertaining. Not even close. Yes, Monday Night Football was close, but this one against the Lions, Bears didn't even show up. Bears didn't even get on that plane. They weren't even at Ford Field on Sunday, and they deserve everything that they got to them. So now we get to wait for Sunday, where, yes, Dallas won in overtime over the Giants only because Russell Wilson threw a ball at the wrong time and an interception with 2 minutes left. But they'll come in, and after that game, they'll think that they're winning the Super Bowl. So the Bears lose 52-21. They get ready for the Cowboys on Sunday. We'll get to preview another great one. God, it's week 2 and we're already sick of watching Bears football. We still got 16 or 15 more games of this. One game, you look forward to beating the Saints maybe? Saints will probably get their one win of the year against the Bears. God damn. And talk about bad. Let's talk about the Northwestern Wildcats. I guess we can get into that now, huh? I guess we could play the open. Yeah, for the Northwestern Wildcats, Oregon came in in the beginning, it looked pretty good. It looked like they were going to come out there and play a really strong game. And maybe, again, they're ranked the number 4 team, Oregon, but no, they came out 34-14 the final. Preston Stone comes out. He goes 11 for 21, 135 yards, did throw 2 interceptions. So what has he got? Like 6 interceptions in 3 games. I don't know if he had one in the second game, but he got his ass kicked in the first one. So, I mean, that is just what we continue to see from this Chicago sports is just no progression. And I mean, this team and this in the Northwestern banking on their 35,000 seat stadium, but when you don't have a talented team to put in there, it's ridiculous. Let's see who the Northwestern Wildcats will be previewing the game next week. But you knew going in that Oregon was going to come in and railroad them. They're a top ranked team. I had them winning the NCAA playoff last year, but they came in here and did exactly what you expected them to do. The Northwestern's not made for the Big Ten. I'm sorry, they're not. The only time they were relevant was with Pat Fitzgerald, and I know all the stuff that went down with him. He's probably going to be getting the UCLA job, but they'll be welcoming in UCLA. Speaking of that, they'll be welcoming in UCLA this in 2 weeks. So they're off this upcoming week. So no Northwestern preview. So, and then they'll be off, and then UCLA, which they're saying if Pat Fitzgerald, because they just fired their coach, if Pat Fitzgerald gets that job, his first game coaching will be at Northwestern. I think that would make for some entertaining television. So we'll see if that's the case. But they do lose what you figured to Oregon in week 3, bye week next week, back at it in a couple of weeks at home. Still, again, in the middle of this 4-game homestand, trying to get these games out of the way because they're right on the lake when the weather is somewhat warm as well. Take a time out here on Hello Chicago Network. When we come back, probably the one positive, thank God, of the weekend, the Chicago Cubs, as they went up against the Tampa Bay Rays. That's coming up next on the Hello Chicago Network. What's happening Saturday was announced on Wednesday that Anthony Rizzo is going to retire. He's retiring a Cub. He's going to be an ambassador, and that's all going to happen tomorrow. Congratulations, Anthony Rizzo. Behind Sammy Sosa, my favorite Cub of the core. He was always the guy he was the honorary captain. He's the guy that just was always there and stepped up and did exactly what you needed him to do. And he was just there, and he was the face of the core. And the fact that he's able to retire a Cub, hopefully they end up retiring this 44 forever. Hopefully they get the chance to retire it, but the fact that he's able to be at Wrigley tomorrow, on him, hopefully he sings the stretch. That they honored Sosa and Lee last week, Rizzo this week. That's covering all 3 generations or all 3 eras of Cub baseball for me. Okay, we're back here on Hello Chicago Network. Of course, you just saw the rewind talking about Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo back there Saturday. Heartbreaking loss for the Cubs on Saturday, but it was nice to see Anthony Rizzo there having fun in the bleachers, doing the beer snake and everything. Even Moises Ballesteros got his first major league home run, and it went right to Anthony Rizzo. Missed it with the bare hand. The guy behind him got it. But it was fun to see him just be able to enjoy the games. Heartbreaking loss for the Cubs, but they do win 2 out of 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays. They play a Friday. They offensively do a very good job. Saturday they lose, unfortunately. Sunday they come out. They struggle early on. They're down by 1 8th inning, and Nico Horner is probably on one of the hottest streaks and a good time for it. I love having him at the plate when you need to get a guy in. He's not a home run hitter, but he's not going to strike out. He's going to make contact, and you want that. And he hit a double down the line, 2 runs scored, 4-3 the final, and Kittredge was able to get the save. Kittredge, Brad Keller had a rough outing the day before. I think he's going to be great in the back end of that bullpen as well. Palencia is going to be back. I think he's already out a week. Kyle Tucker as well. The injury update sounds like he was supposed to be off the IL Tuesday, not ready. They're pretty much safe in a playoff spot. And the fact that they're in that position right now, I think you got to be happy. And if you want to look at this right now, we're going to show it right here that they have a pretty secure spot here. They have a 3.5 game lead over the Padres to host them. The Mets were out of that position for a half a day on Saturday. They finally ended their long losing streak Sunday. Giants 1.5 out, D-backs 2 out. The Reds get swept in Sacramento. Cubs will still have a 4-game series with them this weekend. Cubs magic number going into this week, 4. That means probably, hopefully by the next time we see you on Friday, this team will have clinched a playoff position and we'll have our first playoff baseball on the Hello Chicago network in a long time. And it'll be nice to see. But it's nice right now, but you want to, don't put the guard down. You want that 4 seed. You don't want to go to San Diego for 3 games. And then the winner of that series faces the Brewers. Brewers are the first team to clinch a playoff spot. But for the Cubs point of view, I think you look good here. You take 2 out of 3 there, and then you got 3 against Pittsburgh, and then the opener against Cincinnati on Thursday. I think it's going to be fun. Tuesday's the day. Tuesday's the game you want to watch, where it's going to be Cade Horton against Paul Skeens. And how often are we going to see this matchup over the years? Cade Horton's is the bright future of the Chicago Cubs. Paul Skeens is the greatest thing since sliced bread. The Cubs can score. The Pirates cannot. So can the Cubs. And I believe Horton was supposed to go Monday. And they bumped him and Skeens back. So they're going to go, I'm telling you, Tuesday night, 5:30, Marquee Sports Network. This game probably should be on MLB Network. Horton against Skeens is going to be fun. They got Tyone on Monday, and then they got, I believe, Matt Boyd on Wednesday to close out that series. But the Cubs, so 4, so they need at worst 4 wins on the road trip, but also they need help from I believe it was the Giants as of right now. I think it is the Giants. Yeah. So any losses from the Giants and that number continues to go down. I believe the magic number is 10 or 11. I believe it's 10 now to clinch that top spot with 2 weeks left from today. 2 weeks from today, we're talking playoffs, and 2 weeks from tomorrow, the wild card series starts. So let's go. Continue the wins. This is a big road trip to try to get. You want 4 at least. 4 or 5 victories minimum on this road trip before you go home for the final homestand of the year. So they win 2 out of 3 against the Rays at the Pirates coming up beginning tonight. Tuesday's the game you want to watch, Skeens against Horton. Thursday, the opener at Cincinnati. That'll be a national game on Fox. And then the weekend coming up against the Cincinnati Reds should be a fun week. And hopefully we'll have a playoff spot clinched, but don't let your guard down. You need that number 4 spot. You don't want to go to San Diego. That place is home field advantage, just like Wrigley can be as well. Take a time out here on Hello Chicago Network. When we come back, let's focus on the Sox, who were in Cleveland over the weekend. That's next. But first, we are going to show it this time. It's a Northwestern one. It's time to focus on me for a change. It's time for Orion Focus. As you saw right there, the look back at the Northwestern Wildcats was at the game last weekend. Enjoyed my time there. Probably the only time there at Martin Field. Looking forward next year to get a chance to go to the 35,000 seat stadium. So excited about that. And maybe going to one of the games at Wrigley. Got to, when we have time, I'll tell you the story of what happened to me last year when we went, but I'd like to get the chance to possibly go one more time. Now it's time to focus on the Sox. As not I mean, after having such a great stretch, the Cleveland Guardians came out and they swept the White Sox. Not a well played series. I didn't get a chance to watch the highlights like I normally do. I will. I'm going to take a look at them a little bit later on. But I mean, they do lose all 3 games to the Guardians. Now are only 2.5 back of a wild card spot in the American League, and the American League kind of all over the place right now. The divisions, the American League Central set. So if the Guardians are going to get in, it's going to have to be based off that third spot in the wild card. They are a team that never goes away. It just seems like they're always there, and you forget about the Guardians every year, especially the way the year has been for the Detroit Tigers. They've came out and just played exceptionally well. And then the Guardians they don't really show up till the final couple weeks of the year. And then you're looking at them and they're on a push to make the ALCS. So it's just how it is with the Cleveland Guardians. But they ran into the White Sox, have had a very good stretch. Unfortunately, can't do it in Cleveland. Shift gears now. They'll get ready to face the Orioles, who are a very big disappointment in 2025. Supposed to be one of these teams that are supposed to make the next. Remember, they were in the American League wildcard series the last 2 years and didn't win a game. This year, not going to make the playoffs at all. They're a young and up-and-coming team. They still got Jackson Holiday. Probably they just signed their new catcher. Probably going to be trying to trade their catcher, Adley Rutschman. Possibly something the Cubs could be interested in. We'll find out. But it should be fun to see 2 very young teams and possibly teams in the future could be meeting in the playoffs. But definitely a disappointing year for Baltimore. We'll see how the White Sox will do in this series as they'll be home Monday through Wednesday against the Orioles. And then if you want to look at the tracker, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, with the Colorado Rockies, they got OW this week. They are now tied with the White Sox. So if they lose out the rest of the season, they will tie with the White Sox for the worst ever record in baseball history. But if they get one more win, White Sox will still have. And that sucks because this Rocky team feels like they're way worse than last year's White Sox team. But they're pesky. So we'll see if they lose out with the 2 weeks, which is going to be hard. Then the White Sox will at least have a companion. But if the Rockies win one more, and the White Sox will hold that record for the worst team in baseball. So that's it on the White Sox. Get swept by the Guardians, and then they'll welcome in the Baltimore Orioles starting tonight on the south side of Chicago. Preview for Friday. We won't have any previewing for Northwestern. Preview the Bears game against the Dallas Cowboys. We'll recap the week for the Cubs. Hopefully they have a playoff spot. By the next time we see you, hopefully they will have clinched a playoff spot. And that'll be huge. And then you start focusing on the 5 spot and then the 4 spot, which is the ultimate goal. They are still they're 5.5 behind the Brewers for the Central. Not worried about that. If they're 3 or less out of the division a week from today, we'll talk NL Central. If not, get it. Brewers can have it. And I'll give you my opinion and all that coming up in 2 weeks when the season is over. We'll talk about playoff predictions and all that kind of stuff. But we'll recap the week for the Cubs and the White Sox, and we'll get you ready for the weekend as well. Thank you for watching, everyone that's watched on Raise the Bar TV. Of course, we will have you here Mondays and Fridays, Ringside Report every Saturday and Sunday. John Cena Rewinds, we had the last 2 weeks. Check those out. We're going to be back with Ringside Report on Friday at 4 p.m. for the warm-up for a big wrestling weekend. AEW's All Out and WWE's WrestlePalooza. So check that out as well. So a big week here on Raise the Bar TV. Like the video if you like what you see here on, and don't forget to comment as well. Last week, we had one comment from Chris, big fan on Raise the Bar TV. He asked me, are they moving into their new stadium, Northwestern Wildcats, next year? Yes. Next year, barring any setback, the new Ryan Field will be ready for opening day next year. So that should be exciting. Can't wait to see how that turns out. And they say it's supposed to change Big Ten football, so we'll see how that is as well. But comment on this video if you will, like it. And also please subscribe to the Hello Chicago Network YouTube channel. I know you're probably watching on Raise the Bar TV, but the main channel here is the Hello Chicago Network YouTube channel. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, give me a comment, ask me a question, give me a comment. If I suck, tell me that. If I post too much, tell me. All news is good news in the world of media. So everyone have a great week. We're back Friday. We'll have a great week. Enjoy sports. unless you're a diehard Bear fan, then you just got to kind of deal with it. I'm Ryan Yadishadas from the Hello Chicago Network. We're the focus of Chicago sports.